we won't spend a whole lot of time on it because I don't think we'll edit a separate video out. But here it is. The New York Jets are sending defensive end Jermaine Johnson to the Tennessee Titans in exchange for defensive tackle T'Vondre Sweat. The trade cannot be processed until the start of the new league year in March. So obviously it's going to be a formality then, but T'Vondre Sweat, just a straight up player for player trade.
Really? Straight up player for player.
Yeah. And I don't know how well Jermaine Johnson has played, but I don't know, man. I kind of feel like on the surface, that's a pretty good trade for the Jets. Or
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, let me pop it up here on the screen. You know what? We'll just talk about it for a second if you want.
I can't believe that player for player, straight up. No, no draft picks, nothing. Just a quick flop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, this is one of those like, who would have been the straight up trade for us that you'd have said, okay, I like that.
Right.
Let me give you an example, and I don't know if they would have done this because of the cap involved. You guys know I want Gary back at the right price, okay? And it's very, very important to say the right price. What if they couldn't get something done there, right? And I'm sure Jermaine Johnson is significantly younger than Gary. Would you have been okay with trading Rashawn Gary straight up for T'Vondre Sweat? Because I think I would in that scenario. How do you feel about that?
That's a tough one. On the surface, I would say no, but man, we need a D tackle so bad that, and you've got young guys coming up. You got Sorrell coming up. You got LVN ready. You got Micah. Yeah, I think you could convince me to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Chad Ink says LVN, I'd be a little more hesitant on because I kind of feel like you may be able to. I think LVN is going to have a good year. I think he's going to really kind of, rise up. Just based off of if he could stay healthy, of course, just based off what he's shown last year. So if he stays healthy and he rises up, let's say he doesn't go like completely crazy, you might be able to get him on an extension that's really affordable for a starting edge defender, right? Because Micah, when you're modeling your roster, right, you don't want to pay, you can't pay. I don't want to say you don't want to pay. You cannot pay, top 3, top 5 edge defender money to 2 different players, right? So you got Mike already in that role. You need that guy that's starter money, but not breaking the bank. And I'm holding out hope that they can get LVN on a deal like that.
And especially where you're at age-wise, looking at the 5th year, all that stuff is okay. LVN is probably the next guy in line. You've gotten use out of Rashawn, but yeah, it's tough at that contract. Like you said, I think you could convince me to do it right off the bat, straight up. I'm not sure, but I'm sure if we crunch the numbers, it'd probably be worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Coach Lynn says, what about Wyatt? That's an interesting one, right? The problem with trading Wyatt straight up here, Coach, is I don't feel like your team gets better if you trade Wyatt for T'Vondre Sweat. At best, I think it stays the same. They're 2 different players, right? But what if you had, both of them on the roster together, even if it's just for 1 year, if you don't extend Devontae Wyatt, him being 28 years old, right? I love the idea of T'Vondre Sweat alongside Devontae Wyatt as opposed to just getting rid of Devontae. It'd be like if we traded Gary for Micah last year, right?
Right.
You're kind of you're overall, your roster might get a little bit better, but it could have been immensely better if you kept both of them, which we seen, Gary led the league in sacks the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. He was on fire right out of the gate. If you didn't have that kind of production early on out of Gary, who knows what their record would have started off at, right? So, when I kind of look at the Wyatt question there, Coach, that's kind of how I see it. I can be sold on it. Don't get me wrong, right? Because T'Vondre Sweat does look like a better football player than Wyatt. Me personally, I think that based off the small saturation that I've seen from T'Vondre Sweat. But yeah, what do you think about that? Would you trade Wyatt straight up for T'Vondre Sweat, or would you rather try to keep both of them if you were
right now with the busted ankle and stuff? I think potentially I probably would. Beginning of last season, I don't think I would have, because like you said, we'd be right in that same spot where we still need a little pass rushing D tackle, and we just don't have that. But Sweat, man, you get a guy that you can't move off the ball, somebody that can clog up the middle, it'd be worth it. That's why I think they're digging into D tackle. It's kind of deep this year. You get a little bit more. It's just who's going to make it to 52 is the biggest question. And like Goody was saying in his presser, they'd be willing to move up, right? But I don't think it's going to be into the first. If anything, it'll be early, trying to move up 10 picks in the second, 12 picks, something like that, and then go ahead and get your guy. Once you get a couple phone calls, hey, we're going, a couple teams are going after this dude. A couple DTs come off the board. We'll see how it lands.
Definitely. Soder in the chat said Johnson's has been since the Achilles.
I think he said Johnson's a has-been since the Achilles. What was Tennessee thinking?
Got it. So evidently he has underperformed, because I do remember him being a highly touted prospect, if I remember correctly. So definitely underperformed. So yeah, I think what it says, Solder, is they're obviously rebuilding in Tennessee. Surprise, the Titans are rebuilding, right? Seems like it's a common theme here over the last couple of decades, but they're probably looking at it like, okay, is he definitely our anchor of the future? They obviously didn't see T'Vondre Sweat like that. Let's go ahead and try to grab this guy that whoever the GM is now in Tennessee probably had an extremely high grade on. Let's see if we can bring him in here and utilize him a little bit different. So I'm with you. I don't like to trade, Solder. I'm trying to play devil's advocate for there. And you make a great point. It's hard to justify trading Sweat for him. So, yeah, so the Jets, maybe the Jets are finally turning around, man. Maybe they
need a quarterback, somebody that, came out of Green Bay, able to handle the cold and everything.
Mandy was talking about that yesterday. She's like, is Malik Willis going to end up with the Jets? I said, I hope not. She said, that would be so sad. Like, God love him. Like, we know what's going to happen. He'll
still be in the green, Mandy. We'll be all right.
Yeah, I suppose. So there you go, man. A little bit of breaking news right here on the fly. Again, hey, if you guys are watching this short little clip back, let us know in the comments. How do you feel about that trade? Do you wish the Packers would have traded for T'Vondre Sweat? Or are you like, nah, I wouldn't have wanted to give up a player for player there? Like Brenton Cox Jr. comes to mind. If he was under contract, would you be willing to trade Brenton Cox Jr. for T'Vondre Sweat? That's a little tough too.
Yeah.
But let us know in the comments what you think about this trade. Hit that like button for us. Hit subscribe. Click the bell icon so you don't miss out on our future live streams.